One time back in college, after a night of drinking, I brought a girl home to the dorm room, and she wanted to get freaky and said, "Let's do anal." So I was all for it, but I didn't have any lube. Then I remembered my roommate does, so I gave him a quick call and asked if I could use it, and he said yes, get after it. Being blacked out and never doing it before, I don't know how much to use, so I used probably half the bottle. Didn't know how to put it on either, so let's just say our floors got most of the lube, and we're covered in a thin layer of it. I tried to pick it up and clean it up after the fun, but I didn't do a good enough job. The next day, when my roommate came back, he was all tired, so he went straight to bed, which was on his top bunk. And after his nap, he climbed down and stepped straight in the lube, fell back and hit his head on the desk and started bleeding everywhere. So I had to take him to the hospital to get stitches. And he has a scar from it that you can see to this day, and it's one of our best memories from college. First and foremost, I'd like to say, I don't know a lot of women that are just like, hey, let's do anal. Because usually it's kind of just the guy who's like, please, 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 come on, please. And then they're finally just like, okay, Kevin. And then they do it. But, I mean, maybe you found a rare one. They exist. They're out here in the wild, you know? But, so you use half the bottle of lube. If you're going to make a mess, here's all I really got to say about it. And this goes for everything in life. You're going to make a mess. Just make sure you clean it up. Because when you don't, then your buddy, who wasn't even involved in the sick, twisted games that you were playing, cracks his fucking head open. He doesn't deserve to crack his head open. You gotta clean up your lube. Metaphorically, literally, you gotta clean up your lube after you're done doing anal. But you know what? That is a funny memory, and like if you and your friend can like laugh about that and like not fucking hate each other and be like, what the fuck, man? Like, that is really funny, so I bet that probably brought your friendship pretty close. And that's the beauty of real friendship, man. Sick, twisted things happen. You hurt each other on accident, but you still accept each other. And that's true friendship. It sounds like you got that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Story Time. I'm Jameson, your spiritual leader and God of love. And nowadays, I like to kick off every episode with a little bit of a story about my life. So I'll tell you what's going on. If you don't know, I moved to Brooklyn, New York in February, which is probably the worst timing in human history of all time, you know, because I just moved down here and then the government kind of just grabbed my nutsack and said, this is ours. So yeah, I've been spending a lot of time inside, a lot of time smoking weed. A lot of time eating candy. A lot of time smoking cigarettes. Anyways, I don't know if you know this, but in order to live here, you do need a job. 'Cause it's expensive. And man, I had no fucking idea. Like, what am I even gonna do for a job? What are my skills? Dropping out of college after 3 years with nothing to show for it? Talking when no one wants to hear me? Those are my biggest ones, probably. But sometimes, sometimes life just gives you what you need if you're willing to go out and be looking around in the world. And now what I mean about that is, so let's get into the story portion of this. One day, one day, your man is low on marijuans, and that's got to be solved, you know? Gotta get some more. So my dealer, he's out of marijuans, and I'm kind of sitting here, dick in hand, not really sure what to do. But you know what? Sometimes in life, man, you gotta take matters into your own hands. So what do? I put on my pants one leg at a time. I put my socks on, throw on a t-shirt, walk out the door into the cold, harsh world, looking to seek of which I desire, which is marijuana. And you know, I'm walking down the street, right? And I see a group of maybe 13, 14, 15-year-old guys. And they're puffing on gas. Like, I mean, the block smells. The block smells like weed. Gotta lower the chair a little bit. Feel like I was a little too high. And so, what am I to do in this situation? I can be bashful and say, no, I'm not going to ask them. They're children. These are pretty much grown men at this point. Puffing on fucking like 4 backwoods, just hanging out together. I think they were talking about taxes. But anyways, I pull up and I'm like, hey guys, any chance you might know where I could get some weed? Or maybe you guys have a little bit you could sell me? And so they're like, nah, man, we just have like our personal packs and like can't really share. I was like, we don't have enough for that. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. However, one of their older brothers comes out and he's walking and he's like, what's going on? And so I tell him what's good. And he's like, oh yeah, my mom and I are about to go pick up some weed right now, so just wait here. And then so I'm talking to his mother. His mother is a Dominican lady or Puerto Rican lady, just very, very nice people, having a good conversation on the street. He's like, all right, I'm going to go get my car. I'll be back in a second, and we can go roll out to it. And I was like, okay. So I'm hanging out. Then this dude comes around the block in a murdered out black Mercedes-Benz. Very expensive vehicle. Very nice vehicle. And next thing I know, I walked out of my apartment looking for weed, and I'm with a Dominican family in the back of a Mercedes, going to God knows where. But sometimes in life, you have to shed your safety net. You have to take off your layer of protection. And you gotta just let things happen. See where you're gonna go. I mean, maybe I get shot in the face, because there's people on earth that get shot in the face by strangers. But maybe something else happens. So we roll into town, and we get to this place. They're like, all right, well, we're here. And by the way, the whole car ride there, lovely conversation. They were very nice people to be around. We get to this place, we hop out, and it's basically just this little bodega, except it's all closed in. It's not a walk-in shop. There's just a little window about this big, and they just pop it open. And you walk up and you say, hey, can I get an eighth? And you throw down $30, and they give it to you. I mean, they're selling other things too. They're selling fucking snacks and shit like that. But next thing I know, I'm on the inside of this little weed operation where now, whenever I want to, I walk over to this little newsstand, throw down $30. It's a half mile from my apartment. Throw down $30 and just get a bag of weed. I don't have to text anybody. I don't have to worry about shit. I just walk my fat ass over there, hand him a Jackson and a Hamilton, and go on my way. I mean, what the? How great is that? It's probably the most convenient thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Anyways, we're riding back to my apartment because they're going to drop me off. And I'm talking to them about how I don't have a job and I need to afford to live here. So the guy in the front seat, he tells me, he's like, hey, just let me take down your number. I might actually have a couple leads that you could use for a job, and I will put you onto them. And now when someone says that to you, usually you take it with a grain of salt, because there's not a lot of people, well, not that there's not a lot, most people aren't that willing to stick their neck out for you. But I get a text the next day, and he's like, yo, man, this one place, like right across the street from you, they're looking for a new employee, so I'm going to put you in contact with their manager, the owner, and, you know, you can see how that goes. And I was like, wow. Got so much more than I expected out of all that, right? Anyways, I talked to the owner of this place, and then turns out now I'm a butcher. Now I cut fucking meat. I fucking make sausage. I fucking do stuff with meat, and I get paid for it. So what I'm saying is sometimes in life you gotta just get rid of your fear, get rid of whatever. What are all the negatives? Who fucking cares? Just put one foot in front of the other and see where you end up. And then you might end up with an awesome plug and a job cutting meat. And I mean, like, am I, I didn't come down here just to be a butcher. I don't want to be a butcher. Yeah, but guess what, dude? I gotta fucking do what I gotta do. Do you have to do what you gotta do? I think so. I think we all gotta do what we gotta do. So, there's one thing about your boy Jameson. He gonna fucking do it. So if I gotta cut some fucking meat and then work that into my schedule, work podcasting into my schedule, work being the god of love into my schedule, I'm gonna fucking stretch myself thinner. Cause guess what? I'm like pizza dough. I can get pretty fucking thin and still hold the sauce and the cheese and whatever other toppings you want. So yeah, I am a full-time butcher for the time being. And you know what? I really do like it a lot. I enjoy the people I work with. And I like being able to get up every day and just speak to people. You know, other than that, like, I was just sitting in my apartment kind of smoking myself to death and eating Little Debbie snacks and getting fucking chubby. But now I'm moving my ass every fucking day. Now I got the gears turning. I'm thinking of some good shit to talk about. I'm fucking busy. I feel good. And it's all about sticking your neck out. Stick it out there. And someone might try to stab you. But someone else might just be like, this is a nice neck, and we should and we should see what we could do with that. So what I'm really saying is get out in the fucking world and do what you're gonna fucking do. And do what you gotta do. And go where you gotta go. And don't let anyone fucking tell you otherwise. Because I'll tell you this right now. I'm looking at you, fuckhead. You're the president of your own life. Nothing that anyone else says or does can stop you from doing what you gotta do and being who you gotta be. So fucking do stuff. Do your stuff. Get up. Stand up for your right. As Bob Marley said. Your right to do what you gotta do. Which is whatever the fuck it is. So I've been modeling for the past 2 years. I really love it. But it also makes you a lot more comfortable with your body in public situations, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So I went with my friends to Lake Tahoe back in late July. It was partially for a photo shoot and it was partially just a hangout. We went to the beach and I got wasted. I think I had mixed 3 different types of alcohol. I fell over in the water, talked about deep stuff. The photographer made a video of me, etc. I didn't remember a lot. I was going to model a few robes for a brand and I did so. We weren't in a hidden area. There was a tourist staircase above us and people watching us. I wanted to change because I was cold and apparently just whipped my top off. Quotations, braless. And put on something else. I didn't look up to see if anyone was watching. I just did so without a care. Or so they told me afterwards. No idea which strangers saw my nips. And I don't care. Good for you. That's your prerogative. If you don't give a shit which strangers see your nips, I mean, you own your nips. Like, we all got nips. Like, check this out. I don't give a fuck who sees my nips. Look at my nips. You see them? Yeah. Cool. You feel me? People can do whatever they want with their bodies. And if you're a model, you are obviously proud of your body and you work hard on it. So, like, if you wanna be at a tourist attraction and whip your titties out, I'm sure there's going to be some old men who are going to think about that for a long, long, long time. Because I've worked with a lot of old men before, and they remember these things for centuries. For centuries. But I just got one thing to say. I would always keep that strap on you. If you're going to be frivolous with your titties, I would keep that strap on you. Whether it be a pocket knife, whether it be some pepper spray. Where there is old men who are just going to see your titties and be like, wow, I'm going to crank it to that for like the next 40 times that I crank off. There's also going to be guys who are going to be like, I'm just going to crank it right here. Or I'm just going to grab those titties because I see them and now they're mine. So you got to look out for those people and stay strapped up. You feel me? Carry a weapon. Not to fucking hurt people for no reason, but just carry that strap on you. Just for your own safety. Anyways, that's really all I got. Next story. I once went on a trip to Chicago to see Trailer Park Boys live. We popped Adderalls towards the end to go out and enjoy our evening all hyped up. We ended up running into the old executive chairman of BP Oil. Started talking about gas and shit. Quotations, my dad owns gas stations. Shortly after Keith, the executive chairman of BP, pulled out a Coke baggie and we started railing lines at the bar that he had special access to. Shortly after the bars closed, we were racing down the interstate at like 130 miles per hour in his Porsche Panamera. We end up at this ghetto-looking area, kind of scared and worried, and got into his garage, which still looked kind of shitty. But then we walked into his house, which was a palace, and was 5 stories high and had over $100,000 worth of alcohol displayed on the walls. We then drank and did blow for the rest of the evening until morning. Keith looked like he was about to die, honestly. He was all purple. Keep in mind, he might be around 55 years old. Keith got us a private ride to our hotel. We laid down for about 30 minutes, realizing we are not going to go to sleep. Then we took the 4-hour drive home. I laid down for several hours before realizing I had a Tinder date that night. Here I am with like 40 plus hours no sleep, and I went on this Tinder date and had sex with this girl with a fat ass while hallucinating from lack of sleep. Tried to make that quick and easy. Hope it makes sense because I'm not going to read it over again. Love you. Your shit's entertaining. I love you too. And your story was entertaining. Now, let's unpack this real quick. Starting with BP oil. What do you know or remember about BP oil? I remember in the year 2010 when one of their oil rigs blew a gas line and spilled tens and hundreds of thousands of gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. And all of America was fucking crapping on BP oil because they just spilled a ton of gas into the ecosystem. Not good for our environment at all. They're all under fire. But, you know, do you think everyone at BP oil was like, let's spill some fucking gas, guys. Let's do it. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny. Let's see what they say. No, that shit fucked up on accident. I mean, BP oil's just trying to keep our cars running and stuff like that, right? But anyways, during this time, did my little research, this guy Keith became the executive chairman of BP oil right after the oil spill. So, here comes this random guy, Keith, out of the blue, and he steps up and decides to say, I'm going to take all of these problems into my own. Even though I didn't spill all this oil, I have nothing to do with it. I'm just here, and I'm going to try and help. I'm going to try and change our image. I'm going to try and do good things for our environment and turn this ship around. So be it if the guy's got to do a little bit of fucking coke and drive his car fast. He's under fire from all of America. And I know people who can't take a peaceful walk in the park without doubling over, crying about their own pitiful lives. Meanwhile, this guy's going to take in the problems of millions of people and an entire fucking multi-million-dollar company and decide, all right, now this is my problem, and I gotta change this for the better. So be it if this dude wants to fucking party a little bit. I would too. I mean, holy shit. You gotta think about the sort of issues that some people decide to take in and try and fix for the greater good of the world at sacrifice of their own well-being. So, a shout out to Keith real quick. You know, you gotta fucking do a little bump, Keith. Fucking do it. Just keep doing good stuff out here for BP, man. Keep fucking working for our ecosystem. Keep making our cars drive, man. And if you gotta fucking put a little coke into your gas tank to keep that fucking Hemi moving, so be it, man. So be it. And the same is true with so many other people that take in gigantic problems. Meanwhile, so many other people want to sit and bitch and moan and cry. Keith's a fucking doer. That's what's up. Shout out BP Oil. Shout out Keith. I was at a concert chilling with the boys. We wanted to get closer to the stage, so we started making our way. We got like 100 feet closer to the stage, and I was about to walk past this girl. And without looking back or anything, she pulls down her pants, squats, and poops right there on the venue grounds. No toilet paper or anything. Stands up and pulls her pants up like a fucking psycho. Best part is she pulled leaves and shit out of her backpack to put on top so future people who didn't witness may not know where she laid the golden egg. I mean, you can't really hate on this woman. Like, you go to a fucking concert series, like an 8-hour concert, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're maybe doing whatever you want to do. You know that's going to come and bite you in the ass, literally, because you're going to have to fucking explode, whether it be in your pants, a porta potty, anything, at some point during that day. And just because Melissa came with leaves ready for it doesn't make her a bad person. Well, do you want to wait in the fucking line for the porta potty while you're trying to see the Grateful Dead or whoever the fuck? Who do people listen to now? You're at your Doja Cat concert and you got to take a fucking deuce? You want to wait in a fucking line before she rips that one song you love? Nah, bring some leaves. Bring some leaves. Cover up your tracks. That's what animals do in the woods. If a bear poops, just put some leaves on it. That's nature. That's fucking nature. At its purest form. Alright. The craziest shit happens when you smoke weed. One of the more out there stories was the highway incident. To set the scene, my friends and I were stoners early on in high school. I'm talking early sophomore year when I started regularly, and I was a little late to the party. In the summer going into junior year, being too lazy to walk to the park to smoke, me and a few friends rolled down the windows and hit the local freeway headed north. We had a blunt to smoke. A few minutes after we started, a car pulled up next to us and honked. Our initial reaction was, oh, fuck that guy, mind your own goddamn business. Let us consume drugs at 65 miles an hour in peace. And to speed away from what we assumed was either a 45-year-old white mother or a 70-year-old Confederate sympathizer. But the car followed, beeped again and again. We look over to see a tan Prius with 2 men up front and a woman in the back. They didn't particularly look nice, but when the guy in the passenger side flashed a giant bag of weed, we almost swerved out of our lane. After we clearly demonstrated our interest in buying weed from who we would later call the highwayman, he pulled his car ahead of us and we took the next exit off. We met him in the parking lot of the Chicago Botanical Gardens. Being a Wednesday afternoon in the summer, it was packed with old ladies and hordes of children with their parents. We parked, the blunt still lit, and waited for the highwayman to come to the car. He hopped out of the car and took his time walking the 15 feet between our 2 cars. The first words he spoke after the slow minivan automatic doors opened was, "What you smoking on?" When we saw the sad end of the amateur blunt in our shiny white faces, he got right to business. We coughed up all the money we were willing to spend, $60, and had it ready for him as he sat down. He brought out a different weed bag and eyeballed 4 giant nugs out. He gave us his phone number before he left. We asked him if he served in Evanston, our town, and he told us casually he'd go anywhere from south side of Chicago to Milwaukee. It's a 100-mile radius. We had found the drug dealer's drug dealer. And that story is from Big D. All right. So, I've been a young kid desperate for weed before too. And the amount of times in my life I would just have wished that I was driving down the highway and someone flashed me a big bag of weed and just went beep beep, like, wanna buy some? Countless times. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't have a lot of weed, or you have no weed, and you need a strike of luck. I remember when I was about a junior in high school, there was one night where no one had any fucking weed. So I decided, I gotta fucking still try and find some. Like, I'm trying to get high right now. Maybe I had more of a problem. But we're not getting into that. So anyways, I'm just driving around places. I buy a pack of blunts. And I'm waiting for one of my drug dealers to respond. I'm just sitting in the parking lot at Sunoco. So, this mahogany red van, it's probably like a Toyota Sienna from like 2002, rusty as fuck, pulls up. There's this big woman in the front seat. Like, big woman, like sturdy woman in the front seat. And she's wearing a tie-dye shirt with a smiley face on it. And I was like, worth the fucking shot, man. She fits the image. So I walk over, I'm like, hey, miss, I'm just wondering, do you have any idea of anyone that I might be able to get some weed from right now? And she was like, well? And she had that accent. She said, well? I knows about someone right here. I got some right with me. And you know, I was going to smoke it, but I can just get me some more then. And how much money you got with you? I was like, oh, I got like $20 for you right here. She was like, oh, well, all right. I mean, that'll do. You know, I feel what you're going through right now, and I'm willing to help you out. So this woman just pulls out a fucking nug like this big, had to be like 3.5 grams, was probably like an eighth nug. She just hands it to me for $20, and she's like, I hope you enjoy your night. You know, I just want to spread joy and happiness. And like, that's really just what she was trying to do. And you know what? I still remember that to this day, vividly. And I appreciate what that woman did for me that night. Because, you know, if you're sitting at a fucking Sunoco waiting for weed, you're probably having a tough night. And sometimes in life, sometimes you just run across people who are, they got exactly what you're looking for. And sometimes exactly what you're looking for is just a fucking bag of weed. And you know what, though? I wonder if that guy, the highwayman, I wonder if he just cruises around the highway, like, showing people a bag of weed and being like, you want some? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like a terrible business plan. But yeah, that's some dumb luck. We both had some dumb luck, friend. Sometimes life gives you what you need. And you know, now you got someone to hit up. He'll go 100 miles for you. So that's pretty fortunate to have. Well, folks, that does it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. And every Monday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I'm going to be doing another episode of Storytime. That is every Monday. As in, I am consistently doing this for the first time in the time that I've been doing this. This is my schedule now. And Mondays are for stories. So tune in. Send me some stories. You know, let's all have a good time. Life kind of sucks right now. But at least we got our memories. Let's fucking talk about them. Like I said, every Monday. Mondays are for stories. Thank you, people. If you want to send in some stories, find my fucking Instagram profile. Just send them. You'll figure it out, you know. Click some links. Be inquisitive. You'll find it. And if you wanna put in a voice story, call 901-800-9225 and tell me a story with your own voice. And if it's good enough, I'll throw it on here. All right, people, I got some stories racked up for a little bit. But I need more, and I need more, and I need more, and I need more. Like a fucking crackhead. But I like stories. So keep sending me your stories, people. I'll see you next Monday. I gotta go cut some meat tomorrow. And stay in shape and stuff. So catch you soon. Peace.